Caller.
Oh, I think I know who.
You're in the room.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi.
Okay. So I decided to call just since we were talking about hauntings and ghosts, to talk about how I basically grew up in a haunted house, or I don't even know if the house was haunted or if my family's haunted because I swear me and both my parents have abilities. Um, but the earliest memory I have is seeing like my dead grandmother, and she died when I was one, so I didn't remember what she looked like. But when I saw a picture of her a few years later, my mom was like, "That's my mom." And so I saw her, and she was staring at me, and I was staring at her, and I turned away to look away from her because I was like, "I see this lady who's see through, and she's scary." And she walked into my parents' room, and when they came home the same night, about an hour later, my dad called me in the room and asked if I had gone in there, and I said no. And he said that someone had gone in there and unplugged all of the electronics in the room. And also, I used to wake up in the middle of the night all the time, telling my parents that people would be talking to me constantly, and I could not sleep. I never slept as a child. And one night, my mom said she was sleeping in the bed with me, and she woke up in the middle of the night to someone breathing on her. And she said it scared the shit out of her. She called my dad in the room. And when he went in the room, he was like, "What's wrong?" And she said, "Nothing. It's just my imagination." And she said the minute my dad walked out the room, she heard people laughing at her, like multiple people laughing. And yeah,
Hell no.
and I don't know. I feel like it was all tied to my room too. And another time we weren't home, and my dad said he went to the bathroom, and when he came back from the bathroom, my TV in my room was turned on, and the VCR was playing The Lion King. And he knew that The Lion King wasn't in the VCR before, and that my TV wasn't on. I remember when we came home that night, he was like smoking a cigarette, and his hands were shaking, and he was sitting on the front porch. And I used to see a skeleton lady in a rocking chair in my room sometimes, and I would just like try to block it out. And I don't know, it was just a bunch of crazy stuff. Oh, one time someone like was talking and whispering in my ear, and then they touched my hair behind my ear, and I jumped up out my room. I did not go to sleep that night, and we had a lot of negative stuff happening in the house too, and stuff moving and shattering on its own. So we had to bless the house consistently for a good 3, 4 months before the activity died down. Sometimes we used to smell sulfur in the house. Um, I'm the one who can predict deaths and who saw the shapeshifter. So stuff like this been following me my whole life, and even to this day, my mom says that sometimes she'll hear someone call for her, and it'll be in my voice, but she knows I don't live there anymore. Um, One time, my mom saw a mimic in the house that looked like my dad, and it walked in the bathroom and turned on the light and shut the door, but she knew it wasn't him because he wasn't home that night.
Did you
Uh,
live in
and
House on
even
Haunted Hill? Like, what
Like, what
is?
the hell?
She lived in Hill House, y'all.
She lived in a haunted
no,
hotel.
This is insane.
I'm telling you, just paranormal stuff has always followed me. Even just last week when I was laying in bed, my husband had just left. And when I tell you I felt 2 feet walking on the bed like someone was walking up to me, I said, you're going to have to get the hell out of here because I'm not with it today.
I'm
Like you
Sis,
really have to talk to them like that.
I'm wondering though, is it just following you or is it following your lineage? Because your mom is still having experiences.
it's giving that the mama the medium and the daughter the medium too, and just don't know it and can see and sense things.
But
And
what is it? What
Oh,
is attached to them directly? Where both of the places they live at, they're still experiencing these entities.
well, things can follow you. Don't get me wrong, but I'm getting more so of that you guys are very gifted in a way that most people probably don't want to be gifted in. But
oh yeah.
whenever you enter spaces, you don't know what kind of energy you're going to pick up on. And of course, it scares us. So we automatically think, oh, this is bad. but who says it is necessarily like a bad energy? But it's given that y'all are kind of mediums or like can see, just have the sight and the senses to kind of sense the dead. If
But
that
you
makes
said even
sense.
your father experienced it as well. Like you said, he was smoking a cigarette when you came home one day.
Yes, because something had turned on the TV in my room and turned on the VCR and put the Lion King in. It was late the '90s, but my dad, he's weird too because one time he had a dream that my aunt went to a cabin and she got, you know, taken off the map by these men. And my dad told her, I had this dream. I saw this cabin. This is what it looked like. And she did meet two men the week before, and he perfectly matched the description of the cabin she went to and everything. And she was like, "How did you know that?" And he said, "I saw it in a dream." And she never met up with them again. And I really think he saved her life. So I don't know. My whole family is just weird. Like my parents,
Not weird
me,
gifted.
Yeah.
Y'all be
weird stuff
having
happens.
sometimes very much so like gifted people will draw to each other and have a gifted baby and then y'all all just don't know what to do with the gifts. So, I mean, but I don't doubt that your house was haunted. There's no way. And there was at some point a portal open in your house and y'all were unfortunately able to see every single entity that would come in and out of it. And something may have followed you, but I feel like sometimes we confuse the same spirits when it's not. It's a new spirit.
It was a leprechaun that followed her because it was walking on her bed last week.
Right.
That's crazy.
I don't know. This felt tall. Like I can't even explain it, but I could see it in my
Like
mind's eye.
you
This
felt
is
the
something
weight.
tall.
That's
I felt the
crazy.
weight, but it's almost like I could see it too without seeing it. I don't know if that
Right.
makes sense.
Like you can tell if it's a smaller person. Like if I were to close my eyes, I could tell if it's my 4-year-old or if it's my 15-year-old. Even if I don't see it, I can feel like the heaviness
energy.
and the energy. So I get what you're
Right.
saying.
No, it's very tall, very heavy. Like I could just tell it was something big. I didn't like the energy around it, so I had to kick it out. Because sometimes some energies, I'm like, okay, that's happening, but it doesn't bother me.
Yeah.
But man, some energy I feel, and I'm like, ooh, this making my skin crawl. I don't like this. And my mom, her abilities got even stronger after she had her stroke a few years ago. Now she sees vision, she sees stuff, and she's like, this is scary. I don't know what to do with this. And I'm like, welcome to my life. This has been my life my entire life.
Yeah, somebody said Kimberly said the worst fear experience a mimic and I'm about to piss everybody off when I say this, doppelganger. If you know, you know. They was so mad at me about that. I don't
You broke
care.
the internet for a solid 10 minutes.
In my home, and I live in a household of 3. No, for real, because mimics, they are just so petty. First of all, some of the ghosts in your home were very childish, and I don't appreciate that for you. They were doing things that
Right.
just. Why would you unplug every
Just so they knew it would scare people.
Why would you put the Lion King
the
on?
Lion King
Right.
on? Like, you know, so, but thank you for sharing your experience.
Yes.
I really appreciate
You're
it.
welcome. Yeah. All right. Bye.
Have a good night.
Have a good one.
Walking up on your bed, I would.
Unplugging all my electronics. I'm swinging and I'm using Sage as the weapon. Like,